A lot of fears, the underlying fear is the fear of death. So when you treat fears in general, when someone comes and you realize there is a fear, the first thing you want to say, the first question you want to ask is, okay, and if this happened, what's that? For example, I'm afraid to say what I think. I'm afraid to speak my truth. And if you do, what will happen? People might not like it. Okay. And if they do, what will happen? They might reject me. And if they do, what will happen? Then I will be alone. Well, I'm afraid to be alone. Okay. So that's fear of loneliness. You studied from fear of speaking my truth, but actually the underlying fear is fear of isolation, fear of exclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Before you start shifting the fear, you always want to get to the bottom line, the deepest one you find, okay, in the first stage. And then sometime when you start shifting the what seems to be the bottom line, you can go even deeper. Oh, it's not just fear of being alone, it's fear of being excluded. Now, if I'm what happens if you're excluded? Well, I might not survive on my own. So bottom line is actually fear of dying, or fear of not being able to sustain myself. You know, you can continue deep, 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 deep. Okay, now if they have fear of death, now let's say we write to fear of death. Okay, what's then? What do you say? How do you handle fear of death? Then you want to speak about death itself. What is death for you? Is death like the end of everything, or is death a passing to a different dimension? If it's okay, it's passing to a different dimension, and you're not ready to pass to a different dimension, then you can ask, okay, what is life for you from your perspective? Is life for enjoying, or is life for fulfilling some assignment, understanding something, getting insights, rise for your soul to acquire some form of wisdom, for some form of, if it's the case, then you do what you need to do. And then when you pass, it means that the assignment is done. And then what happened after death,
It's very hard for people, that one. The people that haven't passed away, let's say, and
Yeah, but most of the fears, the underlying fear behind most of the fears is the fear of death.
yeah.
So when you get there, what you do, how do you shift that?
Well, it depends. I mean, what, like you're asking, what does the fear of death mean to them? And then what does life mean?
Yeah. Yeah. What is death for them? What's life for them? You understand? So you come to these subjects.
Because that could be abandonment, that could be, or letting go, or
Yeah, so it could be like attachment. It could be like I'm attached to my identity here, I am attached to what to my children. I don't want to let go of my children. I don't want to let go of my
Mm,
family. The fear
mm,
of separation. Okay, so then you introduce the idea of, is separation a thing? Is that actually real? Is separation real? There is a form of separation from a form for a certain time, but is love bounded to time and form?
right.
Or is love actually love? Is love happening between souls, or is love happening between forms and is bounded by time and space? Because the real love that is in between soul is eternal, never dies. The whole point of transcending this fear is coming to a point of having a wider vision of what's life and death. That's ABC. What's life and death?
Being in Bali, actually, I really spoke or learned about this. So, so much. Actually, one of the guys from the ashram, his father had passed away, and previously his mother, like within the same year. And he was really like fine. I mean, here, the reaction of more of a Western person would just be such intense sorrow and pain, generally, just generally speaking. And he was like already prepared of like what the soul's path is. And it's just our ego holding on to the memories. And it was really like revelatory to me.
Yeah. See, it's holding on to the memories, and holding on like the attachment, the concept of attachment, being
Yeah.
attached to form. Okay, I know I'm going to see this soul again one day, but I'm never going to see her or him anymore in this dimension right now in the physical form with this identity, and I'm attached to that.
Right.
Okay. Right now, I need to learn to transcend that, to let go of this attachment and learn to have a communication with this soul in a different way. I need to learn to keep communicating with the same soul in a different way
Mm,
because the soul is still here, the soul doesn't die. And even when the soul goes to the upper world, the fact that we are entangled because we have a relationship, doesn't matter which type of relationship, it means that I can always access that soul, even
mm,
when it goes to the light. It's just challenging us to um, to expand our idea of how to communicate between beings and how to relate beyond the form and beyond space.
mhm.
But it's completely part of the human experience to go through that.
And I think it shifts during one's life because it's behind so many fears, and at different moments of life other fears can come up. Whether you're in a relationship with somebody or with children or parents, like your fear of death can go through many variations, and so what's really behind that will shift. So it's sort of a constant.
Absolutely. Children, when they start growing up a little bit, they are afraid that their parents are going to die. Parents, when they're
Revisits them later on too.
yeah, parents, when they're having children, they're afraid to die themselves and leave their children behind, or they're afraid for their children to die or to be abducted or to be
Yeah.
taken away. Or that's a very common fear when someone is having a child for the first time, to have this fear that the child is going to be taken away.
Yeah.
Okay. Whether it's by the social services or by kidnapping or by uh, a parent that is going to estrange another parent, or so many different kind of cases that can be the expression of this fear.
But here's a very, I mean, sadly, particularly for the United States, is the fear of a child going to school and guns. And so, like, what would be a way to address that with
With
a,
guns?
yeah, just like, I don't want to send my child to school, or like every day they leave the house and I'm at home and I'm crying, like I don't know what to do. I think this is a really strong and real fear here.
Yeah.
And it's a
We
bigger
we can
thing.
speak about that. We can speak about countries that are at war, that are,
Yeah,
yeah, you go to buy the bread, you don't know if you're going to come back, it might be a bomb or something.
right.
So a lot of people are confronted to this every day. And you
Yeah.
cannot use the fear of death to your door constantly. So the importance of understanding death and life, it's like it needs to be talked about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's a big part of the healing. You're gonna have people gonna come to see you and they lost people, or they're afraid to lose people. Okay, so it's a big part of it's a big aspect. Okay, so you want to bring them to the point where they see life not just as an experience to enjoy, but as an assignment that they are given to acquire some form of wisdom, some form of understanding, of upgrade for the soul. And so, regardless of how it goes, and regardless, when you get to this point, when they agree with this definition, regardless of how it goes, regardless if it's painless or not, if it's cool or not, if it's challenging or not, they're getting that.
Mm.
And they're getting, the soul is getting what it came for. The soul didn't come just to enjoy. The soul came to learn something, to experience something.
What if the fear is to lose the purpose?
Oh,
Mm.
that's an interesting one. So to lose the purpose, you mean to forget?
Not to get to the purpose. I don't know what's the correct word.
Okay, so that's a different fear. That's not fear of death. That's a fear of having a meaningless life.
Yeah.
All of this for what? Okay, so what's an important point here is that there are other cases where people could suffer from the sensation of feeling that their life is meaningless. Okay, and what you want to bring up is that nothing is meaningless. Just the fact that you're alive, it's an experience on its own. It's already a lesson on its own, because you are learning tons of things just by being alive. Okay, so perhaps that the meaning and the purpose was that. You don't know. You cannot judge. You can never put yourself as a judge and judge now that, as if you don't remember the purpose, it means that it's purposeless. If you don't remember the meaning, it means that it's meaningless.
So if I don't remember the purpose, I'm afraid I have to come back on to Earth.
By design, at first, you don't remember the purpose.
Right.
And most people never remember the purpose. Never. Okay? Still, they are able to succeed in their purpose. The only thing you want is to remember, to make choices that elevate you. That's all. The moment you make choices that elevate you, where you feel closer to your authenticity, closer to your integrity, you know that necessarily you get closer to fulfilling the purpose.
Yeah.
And the more you make choices like this, the more you sort out and push away things that are irrelevant, the more in the end you get there. So that's actually how you remember the purpose. It's by sorting out what's meaningless, what does not elevate me. A challenge can elevate me. Being around people who are difficult can elevate me. Okay? As long as I'm getting elevated from this, okay. Now, if it's just suffering for the sake of suffering and there is no transcending whatsoever possible there, perhaps I've done my part. When you encounter a fear of death, you want to be able to bring the people to the point where they are able to make a shift, which is, I acknowledge that death is only the end of this life assignment. and I wrote, so a hint about the shifts. I acknowledge that death is only the end of this assignment. Separation is only from a particular form and only for a moment. So the shift that you want them to do is I accept to let go of attachment to form. And real love is happening on soul level, therefore it never ends. It goes beyond time, space, and form. We have spoken about these things like, okay, dissolution of identity. What is dissolution of identity? I think I already spoke to you about this fear of dissolving the identity. It can stay even after death. And sometimes when people keep this fear even after death, it prevents them to go to the light. Okay? And I told you I met wandering souls that were souls like of famous singers, of famous actors, or even a queen. I met one time Cleopatra. I met different personalities. And the thing with these personalities is that they were resisting letting go of this identity, because in the middle world, they are still recognized as such.
Oh, quite interesting.
People, can you imagine the people who are rich, after building everything they built, now they have to leave everything behind. Everything. So the assignment of letting go of attachment, it's an assignment that everybody has to work on, every single human, whether it is that you lose people, that you lose a fortune, that you lose your job, that you lose your status, that it's a form of initiation. It's a human initiation that we all have to go through. So the more we are ready to let go easily of attachments, the less intense and prolongated the assignment is.
Mhm.
That's why I was mentioning before, there is always this moment where we may have the tendency to feel as a victim. Now, how long are we prolongating the experience and the assignment, how bigger and more dramatic we make it? This is up to us when we really hold on to it and we don't want to let go of it, because we believe that as long as reparation did not come, recognition of the damage was done to us, we need to hold on to it. And so we hold on to the pain and we make it bigger and bigger and bigger, because this pain is becoming like a trigger. And every time a similar event happens, the trigger becomes bigger and bigger and bigger until it becomes so heavy to carry. This thing that is so heavy to carry was not designed in the first place. It was created by us on top of something that was designed in the first place, but then we create so much bigger on top of it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's such a because I mean that's really like what we're like when I describe to people like what we're doing, what I'm learning, I mean and I say in the best of ways, it's like looking at someone's algorithm and like where's that hole, and where they've gone left, but like this real strong visual of almost like this boulder that they started carrying because of all the different ways they've turned away from the purpose they actually were assigned to. I mean, this is what tshuva is. This is I mean what you're saying, it makes so much sense. Like last week with balance and it going into Libra, and now we're in these 4 days of Hashem, the four, like one of the most four powerful days specifically of tshuva, and today is Vov, today's connection.